Dear friends, good evening. Thank you for joining us again this week for another Gnostic Lab of Practical Application. And tonight we have a really nice practice for you, which is the practice so that we can work on developing the faculty of intuition. Samael tells us the world of intuition is the world of mathematics. And what he uses as an example so that we can understand what he is saying is that any Gnostic practitioner who would like to rise himself to the level of the realm of intuition, that he needs to be mathematical himself, because it is through the mathematical relations, as for example, when you are looking at an equation or a formula on your screen or on your paper, it's that you can understand what happens. If you change this, this changes. If you modify this, this changes. If you grow this a lot, you understand what is the actual effect. And the beautiful thing about intuition is that it gives you the ability to understand without having to run the information through the filter of the intellect. You don't have to reason, you don't have to overanalyze. Simply, you look at things and you just know. And intuition is one of those three faculties that are so necessary as we walk in the path of the revolution of the consciousness. The other two are imagination. Not imagination like the imagination of fantasies that we elaborate so much every day, but objective imagination. The ability to be able to see beyond the appearance of things into the thing itself. And the last one is inspiration. And inspiration gives us the ability to know the spiritual reality of things. So when it comes to the faculties of imagination, inspiration, and intuition, it is intuition, the one faculty that gives you the ability to know the significance and the reason of things without having to overly analyze anything. And let us show you this so that you can understand how this is all related to our physicality. This that you're seeing here on the screen is a cross-section of what would be the human brain and all of its components. So, in following with what the principle of correspondence tells us, that as above, so below, within the higher realm of the body, specifically in the area of the head, it is here where we carry those three specific atoms that correspond to the forces of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, when Samael says atoms, we are so conditioned in our thinking that we immediately think, oh, an atom, so it must have electrons and neutrons and protons. And if your mind drifted in that direction, allow us to tell you, don't worry. There is nothing that we have to go out into understanding things from that perspective. Samael is so exact and precise in the use of the word that he uses the word atom from its original Latin root word atomus to mean indivisible. So we have within our constitution these indivisible particles that correspond to the forces of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And they exist within our own head. If we start with the atom, that indivisible particle of the Father, that one exists within the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus, if you were able to follow our little diagram, you can see that the hypothalamus is somewhere around here, deep within the almost center of the physical brain. And the hypothalamus is such a critical part of the human organism that scientists and those people who study neurosciences, they refer to it as the master switchboard. If you can imagine a master switchboard where all the buttons and controls all of the functions and sends all of the instructions into the body, well, this is it. And it is here in the hypothalamus where we find the atom of the Father. So we find this atom here, and this big area that is known as the cerebral cortex, all of this, it is here where we have all of the necessary neural networks, all of those associations of neurons that allow us to create thinking and experience the phenomena that is consciousness. But that is what happens there. Interestingly enough, is that this atom of the Father, it corresponds itself to the brain itself. And that is phenomenal, because it uses of all of those arrangements, of those networks of cells that are interconnected and intertwined to give us the opportunity to experience that phenomena that is the consciousness itself. And of course, the more we can meditate, the better are rearranged all of these networks, and slowly, as the body fixes itself and these connections rearrange themselves, slowly our meditations start becoming so much more meaningful, profound, and rich in returning those experiences of the being. So this is the atom of the Father. The next one is the atom, or the indivisible particle, of the Son. And this one exists right here in this little area that is known as the pituitary gland. This pituitary gland, it is known by the many scientists as the master gland. And the pituitary gland is responsible of releasing certain concentrations of hormones that go directly into the bloodstream and stimulate the functioning and the operation of the many different glands that exist in our endocrine system. Now, the beauty about the atom of the Sun, even though it resides within the pituitary gland, it corresponds to the heart. And we have already learned that Gnosis is indeed a doctrine of the heart. So the better we can get at awakening those faculties of the heart, kindness, compassion, altruism, sacrifice for humanity, work on awakening our inspiration, our imagination, our intuition, the healthier will vibrate that pituitary gland, and we will of course see the phenomenal effect that of course has in the physical body. So now, if you ever wondered why is it that when I do good for others, I feel this indescribable sense of joy and bliss, well, now you know exactly why. Because when you put into action the virtues, the attributes, and the faculties of the heart, well, they resonate within the atom of the Son that is the one who made the ultimate sacrifice. And when that happens, that pituitary gland, as it vibrates in more subtle ways, well, it releases all of these peptides that as they go into the body, they create such phenomenal effects. And the last one that we have is indeed the atom of the Holy Spirit. And if we can guide your attention, you can see that the atom of the Holy Spirit exists within this area in a little gland that is known as the pineal gland. Though the atom of the Holy Spirit resides within the pineal gland, it corresponds with our sexual creative organs. And this should be of no surprise to us, because it is the Holy Spirit, that agent that is responsible for driving creation. So, with that force of the Holy Spirit that, in terms of beauty and harmony and aesthetics, is responsible for the marvelous creation that surrounds us and this particular realm in which we move around and we walk and carry our body and our personality. Well, it also then corresponds with our sexual creative organs. And at night, once it is dark, that absence of light stimulates the pineal gland into releasing a particular hormone called melatonin. Melatonin means darkness because it's associated with it being released within the darkness of the night. And it helps regulate the rhythms of our body and, of course, the rhythms of our sleep. When we abuse our sexual creative energies, this gland becomes weakened. But the more we work transmuting our creative waters, safeguarding them and not just wasting them in the daily minutiae of the little things, well, we help restore the faculties and abilities of this particular gland. So we have three atoms, three indivisible particles of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And of our interest tonight is in working with those faculties of the Son, that the atom exists in the pituitary gland, but that it corresponds directly with our heart. And for us to awaken this faculty of intuition, well, we have to invite those glands, those chakras that exist within our head. We have to invite them to vibrate. But them by themselves vibrating is not just enough. We are so fortunate that we have that letter R right there in this mantra, because we will be using the mantra Tring. That letter T is meant to strike directly into the consciousness. As we prolong the vibration of the letter R allows all of our blood to vibrate. It enables the prana that exists within our own blood to vibrate harmoniously. And as that is happening, the letter I allows for the chakras that exist in the head at the level of the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the right there deep within the head, even the hypothalamus. All of those will vibrate together. And as they vibrate together, well, they start operating better. Allow us to tell you this. As we do this practice, we cannot consider ourselves so naive that we would think, okay, so we chant this mantra for 10-15 minutes, I should be seeing something changing. That may be a little far-fetched. Maybe that is just stretching reality too much. Because even though there are so many students out there that are just this close to making a phenomenal change within, for many of them, a couple of hours of vocalization of this mantra may be sufficient for them to notice the impact and the awakening of that faculty of intuition. For the rest of us, we need to come into these practices with two things. The first one is with the intent of being diligent, disciplined, and tenacious. We have to practice, and we have to practice, and we have to practice with diligence. And we have to be very watchful so that we can start then noticing, embracing that principle of spontaneity, so that we can then start noticing when those flashes of intuition, when they show up. Because what happens with our ego many times is that intuits will show up. Intuits are nothing more than the direct communication that comes from our spirit, from our innermost. And when the innermost communicates, it does not communicate by talking to you in your ear and speaking paragraphs. That's not the way that the innermost communicates. When the innermost communicates, there is no need to use reason. There is no need to use the analytical capabilities, the logic that we have developed. When the innermost communicates, what you experience is those aha moments, where suddenly you're fine, and in an instant, you immediately get that bolt of information in which you know anything and everything that you need to know about the thing itself without having to even analyze the data. It is a deep and profound moment of cognition. So we need consistency, tenacity. We need to be purposeful in this exercise. So we cannot think that this is going to be developed overnight. It could take a week. It could take a month. It could take a year. And this invites then to the second thing that we need to bring into these exercises. Remember that to any one of these exercises, as much as it is for gnosis, we get out of gnosis exactly what we bring into it. If we come here with skepticism, making fun of things, being doubtful, not even willing to to give ourselves the opportunity so that we can build on that faith of experience. If we don't bring any of that, that's exactly what we're going to take back. We will walk out of these exercises empty-handed. If we bring the dedication, if we bring the seriousness into the exercise, then we can assure you that you will start noticing the difference. But you have to be aware. You have to be paying attention. Because if you do not embrace the principle of spontaneity, whenever an intuit shows up, if what you are receiving is not what you like, you're going to question it. If what you receive makes you uncomfortable, if it sparks some fear, uncertainty in you, if it does that, because of the many conditionings that we have gone through, what will happen is that you will doubt it. You will start trying to verbalize it. You will start trying to explain it and justify it. And before long, all of that wisdom that you receive will vanish. It will vanish. And all that would be left behind would be your uncertainties, your fears, your insecurities, and your ego. So the practice that we're going to do tonight is a beautiful practice. We're going to vocalize this mantra for 10 minutes. And after we vocalize for 10 minutes, we're going to continue chanting the mantra Tring with our silent word. Let it vibrate deep within that realm of the mind. And as you do that, focus all of your effort into the vibration of this word of power, of this mantra. If you feel the need of having to see something without thinking, visualize that your chakras in the head are vibrating and spinning clockwise. Now, what that means is that you will see them spinning clockwise, like when you are standing in front of a wall clock and you are seeing those hands turning. That means that if you grab your right hand and you start at the top of your head, at the top of your forehead, they will be spinning from the top of your head towards your right shoulder, down into your eyebrows, up towards your left shoulder, and up once again into your head. They spin according to the motion of the hands of the clock when you're facing it, not when you are standing beside the clock. It is not like that. Okay? So remember, starting at the top, towards your right shoulder, down towards your eyebrows, up towards your left shoulder, and then all the way up to the top. This is the direction in which those chakras rotate. So if you have to see this one, just imagine that intense, brilliant magnetic disk and imagine it spinning. at whatever is that frequency that you would be seeing it spin. So let's go ahead and start by relaxing our body. I'm going to invite you to sit down comfortably. Let's go ahead and let's set our feet flat on the floor. We can comfortably rest our hands on our thighs or on our knees. And let's go ahead and, for the sake of this exercise, let's go ahead and close our eyes. We're going to take a deep breath in 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's focus our breath so that as we inhale through our nose. And as we exhale, that we also exhale through our nose. Let's go ahead and make ourselves aware of what is our emotional state. Understanding what is our emotional state is critical, because we know that thoughts always precede emotions. And if we understand what our emotional state is the moment that we see a thought, well, we already have a good indication what egos may be associated to those thoughts. There may be some of us who feel blissful and happy and ecstatic. There may be some of us who may have had perhaps a longer work day than we anticipated. And we may find ourselves content and satisfied with the day. Or we may have worked so much that we may even feel a little indifferent. There may be some of us who feel one or another degree of sadness. It could be associated to loss. It could be related to uncertainty. It could be related to ambiguities in the different conditions of our lives. And yet there may be some others of us who may feel sad, others who may feel a little frustrated, others who may have experienced an angry moment earlier today and may still be carrying that with them, and maybe others who are in fear. There may be some of us who come to these lectures because the circumstances in our lives may be inviting some despair, and maybe in these lectures they feel some comfort and strength to continue moving forward. But you see, regardless if we are in that bottom side of the spectrum or if we are on the upper side of the spectrum in our blissfulness, it doesn't matter. What is important is that we acknowledge our emotional state. And that we express our gratitude and satisfaction simply for having this new opportunity to reconnect with our innermost. We need to be thankful for this present moment, because after all, it is only this present moment, the only thing that we have. And for it, we are very grateful. We continue breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. And we will bring our attention down to our feet. And using our objective imagination to see that our body is populated by an infinite amount of little gnomes, we will allow those little gnomes to walk out our feet one by one. And every time we see one of them leaving our body, we will immediately notice that the sensation of relaxation, calmness, and looseness that they leave behind is very perceptible. So as we bring our attention down to the soles of our feet, and we start seeing these little playful gnomes just walking out one by one, we immediately feel that sense of relaxation going from our toes to our heels, our ankles, and it slowly extends up our calves until it reaches our knees. And we start feeling that very gentle vibration that comes with a state of relaxation way down there in our feet, in our ankles, and our calves. But we do not identify with it. We experience it with satisfaction, and once again bring our attention to our feet, and we focus and see how as those little gnomes continue to walk out of our body, that relaxation grows from our knees, in and deep within our thighs, from the very core of our thighs outward until it reaches our skin. And as our thighs relax, we allow for that sensation of relaxation to continue expanding until it reaches our creative organs and our hips. We bring back our attention to our breath. We continue to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. And we start noticing that the exhalations start becoming longer and deeper. And in gratitude for this opportunity, we bring our attention back to the soles of our feet. And as we see those playful gnomes leaving our body, we feel that sensation of relaxation growing and expanding into our abdominal cavity. And with every exhalation, we relax our intestines. With every exhalation, we dissolve and we release any tension that may exist in our liver, in our spleen, in our pancreas. Because we are focused on this present moment, we hold no attachments to what happened earlier in the day, earlier in the week, earlier in the year. And because we have no attachments with every exhalation, we simply invite all of those lymph nodes in our lymphatic system just to release. Just to let go of any deleterious substances that we may have been holding back because of our angers or our insecurities, because of our doubts, maybe our fears. And in gratitude for this moment, we relax our stomach and our heart. We relax our lungs. And with every exhalation, we start feeling like our body sinks just a little bit deeper onto the chair itself. As that sensation of relaxation reaches our shoulders, we allow it to cascade down from our shoulders into our elbows, our wrists, our hands, inundating our hands with relaxation and overflowing out through our fingers. And because we maintain that remembrance of self, it becomes very easy to perceive that very subtle vibration that inundates every particle, every tissue, every structure of our physical body. So make yourself certain of this sensation. And know with conviction that this is the natural state of the body. If at any moment, today or in the upcoming days, you were to find yourself tense, you can always invoke of your innermost and ask of your Divine Father to bring back into your body this condition of relaxation. And He will do it. As we continue breathing in through our nose, out through our nose, we allow that sensation of relaxation to continue to increase and grow upwards. And we relax the muscles of our jaw, We relax our lips, our tongue. We relax our eyes and our eyelids, the muscles of our face. And we allow that sensation of relaxation to extend from the bottom of our back all the way upwards, up the neck, and wrapping and involving our head in relaxation until it reaches the very crown. If you were to use your faculty of objective imagination and you were to look at your body, you would be able to see a very gentle, subtle hue of blue. And you will notice how it radiates from within. And if you would, allow that gentle blue light to continue expanding from within your body and occupy all of your space. A gentle hue of blue to expand and fill up every corner of your room. And in gratefulness for this moment, we say, Divine Father, Father of mine, you who are my true being, you who are my eternal God, I am here humbly at your presence, asking of you, begging for your powerful assistance. We offer you this practice with the mantra Tring. We invite you to make use of this physicality and this personality as delicate instruments of your work, so that it is you the one who breathes, it is you the one who sits, so that it is you the one who chants. And we humbly beg of you that you awaken for us the faculty of intuition. We ask of this in your gentle name. So be it. And together we chant the mantra Tring. Continue chanting this mantra mentally and use your faculty of clairvoyance to see the chakra that exists in between your eyebrows, rotating clockwise, shining with the splendor of 1,000 suns. Very well. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. 1, 2. 1, 2. And go ahead and wiggle your toes and your fingers. Very well. So, dear friends, this has been our practice to awaken intuition, working specifically with the mantra Tring. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. And may all beings be happy.